Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a really pivotal moment in ancient history, the narrative from 1 Samuel chapter 4.
Right. And this isn't just another battle story. We're really looking at a source study of a huge theological and political crisis that completely redefined ancient Israel.
So our mission today is to really get to the bottom of the capture of the Ark of the Covenant.
Exactly. An event that our source material says is the third most shameful tragedy in Israel's history.
Wait, hold on. The third. That puts it right up there with the actual destruction of the kingdom.
It does. Only the fall of North Israel in 722 BCE and then South Judah in 587 are considered worse.
So losing a sacred object is seen as being on par with the literal annihilation of the nation state. That feels extreme. What were the stakes here? And
Yeah.
who are they even fighting?
The enemy was the Philistines.
Hmm.
They're constant, formidable rivals. You see them in the Samson stories. And of course, David and Goliath later on.
Okay, so a familiar foe.
A very familiar foe. But the real crisis here was internal. It all kicks off when Israel loses the first battle near Ebenezer. 4,000 men dead.
And that's the trigger. This is where the analysis in the source really begins, right? The elders get together to figure out why God let them lose.
Yes, and their conclusion is what the source calls the worst course of action.
Instead of looking inward.
Right. Instead of, national repentance or something like that, they make this fatal strategic error. They decide to treat the Ark of the Covenant, the very symbol of God's presence, like a good luck charm.
The victory amulet.
A victory amulet, exactly. They haul it over 20 miles from its home in Shiloh straight to the battlefield, thinking the object itself would just magically save them.
So what about the priests? I mean, Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, they were supposed to be guarding it. They were famously corrupt.
Well, they go with it. It was their priestly duty. But the source points out their real failure wasn't just being corrupt. It was their complicity in this.
Right.
They allowed this sacred symbol to be weaponized for human desire.
Instead of calling for actual repentance.
Precisely. And, predictably, the whole strategy just fails. Catastrophically.
And the numbers in the second battle are staggering.
Oh, they are. 30,000 Israelite foot soldiers were killed. And the ultimate tragedy, Hophni and Phinehas are both killed, and the ark itself is captured by the Philistines.
Wow. So they didn't just lose the battle, they felt like they lost their divine presence itself.
That's it. And if you zoom out, you see this moment, this collapse, is what kicks off the massive shift in Israel's structure. It's the end of the era of the judges.
The system failed.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it paves the way for the monarchy, for King Saul.
Which leads us right back to the leader who oversaw this entire disaster, Eli. He'd been the judge for 40 years.
And the source gives us this very specific picture of him. He's 98 years old, he's blind, and it explicitly says he's obese. He's just waiting, sitting in his chair by the gate, totally paralyzed with anxiety about the ark.
Not his sons, not the army, but the ark.
That's the key. So the messenger arrives, and the sequence of the news he delivers is so important. First, the army fled. Second, there was a great slaughter. Third, your 2 sons are dead. And finally, the Ark of God has been captured.
And the source makes it clear that the news about the ark is what broke him, more than the deaths of his own children.
Far more. And his end is immediate and very symbolic. When he hears the ark was taken, he just falls backward off his chair, breaks his neck, and dies.
And the source adds that detail. Because he was old and heavy, why focus so much on his physical state?
That's the critical question, isn't it? The interpretation is that his physical condition, his blindness, his obesity, it's all a symbol for his spiritual condition.
Spiritual dullness.
Spiritual dullness and comfort. His great sin wasn't just one action, it was his apathy. He just stayed sitting in that chair of comfort and spiritual obesity while everything fell apart.
So the challenge that the source material seems to be posing to us, to you, is, are you relying on rituals or objects, your own ark, to solve your problems instead of pursuing a genuine relationship and real change?
Are we just sitting in a comfortable chair of formal faith?
Right. And here's a final thought to leave you with, something the sources point to later on. The ark itself, it eventually just disappears from the biblical narrative.
It's just gone.
It's gone. Which kind of reinforces the whole point, doesn't it? The object was never the goal. The goal was restoring God's glory through genuine faith, not relying on an external thing.